Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fine Tuesday morning, and it actually isn't raining. At least I don't think it is. It doesn't really matter. It isn't pertinent to this type of this video, which is discussing something I assume is very important, and it's the fact that Beyond Two Souls, the next David Cage game, and that long line of his interesting approach to storytelling and design and whatever else. That's Fahrenheit and and the other one, the PlayStation 3 one. It was escaped me at the moment. Heavy Rain. That's the other one. Um, it's in this long line of games that I do consider games. Some people don't. I do. I consider them more games than Dear Esther will ever be. But I'm not here to discuss that. I'm here to discuss something that I saw in one particular review of it. I just pulled up the headline of the review. And, maybe that's not the best way to go about it, but a reviewer is saying something that I've been a preacher of for years. And it's the notion that enjoy it for what it is. And considering the amount of time that's spent on this game, the amount of money that's spent on this game, the effort that they put into this game, you have to enjoy it for those things. For it being this cinematic adventure with big name actors like Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page lending their likeness and their body and their voice to this very interesting, I would argue the closest we're ever going to get to art while still being a game, because Dear Esther is an art gallery with narration. And why I say this is I've never touched a David Cage game in my life. Never touched Fahrenheit, never touched Heavy Rain, probably won't ever touch any of them. Actually, if I ever get a PlayStation 4, I'll use Gaikai. I'll probably end up playing those too. But what's important about the idea of enjoy it for what it is, it goes back to my different does not equal wrong or bad. It's the idea I've been preaching about for years. I think I was preaching about it in my first video that was on Modern Warfare 3, which I've since in my time have rectified to the sense of shut about the single player. It's a fine, competent single player story at least. It doesn't fall apart anywhere. But the multiplayer was shit though. The levels are crap. That at least hopefully gives Titanfall some credit. Hopefully. But looking at this idea, it's like, why would you criticize something that isn't designed to be something else? I talk about Awesomenauts a lot, and this is a perfect example because right now the MOBA genre, as it's called, or Dota clones, or whatever we end up settling on as a term, has become very popular. And in terms of arguments between League of Legends and between Defense of the Ancients, between Smite and Heroes of New Earth, people are always arguing about what's the true thing and what thing matters where and what thing doesn't matter, and etc., etc., etc. And now here's Awesomenauts, which bucks all definitions of what those games should be. It's a $10 game. It isn't free to play. It's side-scrolling, not third-person isometric. It has it is a very small cast of characters that don't follow a suite of archetypes. They're their own archetype into themselves. And if someone were to play League of Legends and then go play Awesomenauts and say Awesomenauts is a bad game, and then were to cite it's not like League of Legends, I want to punch that person in the face. Because that's not why you play a game. I don't play loads of first-person shooters to get that feels like just the other one. I get it for a different approach to how it works. That's why I can play Halo, and I can play Unreal Tournament, and I can play Call of Duty, and I can play Fallout 3. Although Fallout 3 is more of a first-person shooter RPG, so I compare it more to Borderlands. But that's why I can play those games and feel like, okay, I'm getting a unique experience from each of these, and I can enjoy them for what they are. That's the message. That's what's important. Stop criticizing shit for being different. That is why we don't have innovation. Because people are afraid to do different stuff. Because people don't like it when we do different stuff. And yet we clamor for different stuff. It boggles my mind. It always drives me crazy. When people go, why aren't we innovating? And it's like, well, how about this game? They're like, it was crap. And I'm like, no, it did something different. And it tried to take gaming in a different direction. Maybe it didn't do it perfectly, but at least it sets an example. So, to other consumers, to other dudes like me who are seriously into gaming, just 127 hours a day, a week, whatever. Stop being a shit knocker to a game that you don't like because it's different. If it's bad, then you can be a shit knocker. But to developers, if any developer ever watches this video, don't be afraid to try new stuff. As weird as that sounds, especially if you're a larger developer. I know that smaller developers, they can go ahead and do whatever the hell they want, which is probably the one thing that will ever stand out about independent development, is that they can just have fun with how they develop. In at least some of them. And compared to some larger studios. If you're a large studio, don't be afraid to try something a little crazy. I mean, if you end up making it the whole mechanical basis of your game, stick to it, because Portal wouldn't be that great if it didn't stick to Portals as its main mechanic, right? Well, thank you for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. Please take the time to think about all the games that you play and how they relate to each other and what I just said, and just recapping in TLDR. I shall see all of you later!